This is Thomas Nilsson with Analysguiden. With me, I have Francois Martelet, the CEO of Oasmia Pharmaceutical. Francois, we may have some new viewers with us this time, so perhaps you could start by giving us a short summary of your own professional career and also an overview of the transformation that Oasmia is currently undergoing.
Thank you, Thomas. Well, I've been with Oasmia now for a year. My background is medical doctor plus MBA. I spent 18 years in big pharma in fairly senior level jobs in oncology. I was one of the worldwide head of oncology at Novartis in the US. And also later on, I became the #1 in oncology at Merck in the US as well. Then I moved to small companies, startups in oncology, but not always, but mostly in oncology. And basically, I have the teams with whom I used to work with and myself, we used to be fairly successful in developing drugs, out of 18 drugs that I've been working with. Half of them became down the road blockbusters worldwide. So I have to say that I have this kind of track record in the industry. Now, Oasmia, this is a transformation business. It's not only a turnaround, and I think this is very important for the retail investors to understand that. So we are moving from a company that with huge expectations to a company that is a new Oasmia 2.0, with the right kind of teams, management team, board level, strategy, pipeline. And then, of course, we need to execute, and this is what we are doing now.
Good. And when it comes to your product that's already approved in Europe, Apealea, with regards to the US launch of Apealea, your partner Elevar will conduct additional clinical studies in the US. Could you perhaps talk a bit about why these new studies are deemed necessary by the FDA and when they are expected to be completed? And what's the current best estimate as to when Apealea can be launched in the US?
Right. So for a filing of a new NDA in the US, the sponsor must demonstrate efficacy, safety, and quality of the drug. And then you can basically apply for an approval. So the data for this application need to be generating according to the guidance and standards of the US regulatory agency, of the FDA, basically. The FDA requires endpoints for cancer drug development that are slightly different from the endpoints chosen for the European Medicine Agency approval. Therefore, there is some additional clinical data that need to be generated in addition to the data that we have been generating in Europe in order to submit down the road. These studies are currently being prepared. That means the PK study and the phase 3 study. And overall, the program is likely to be completed in 2023 with a potential approval likely to happen 1 year later at the earliest, basically, after the submission, meaning 2024.
Okay, and when it comes to Apealea in Europe, Oasmia and Elevar have signed a distribution agreement with Inceptua Group. And what are the latest developments when it comes to the European launch of Apealea?
Right, so some delay did occur regarding the agreement between all the stakeholders, meaning Inceptua, Elevar, and Oasmia. It's not unusual given the complexity involved. It's now in the final process to be implemented. Inceptua will start the commercialization process during H2 of this year, and therefore we can expect sales and therefore royalties late H2. The fact that there is a delay does not in any way indicate that there is an issue with the drug. It says that there is a slight shift from a timing standpoint.
Okay. And when it comes to the Nordics, where Apealea has already been launched on the market, how are Nordic sales of Apealea coming along?
Right, okay. So you are all aware, obviously, that the pandemic situation put on hold many new product launches. And Apealea, unfortunately, belongs to this category. It's key to have personal interactions with prescribers to emphasize the benefits of your product. And we were basically not allowed to do so. Everything was closed. We had initial prescriptions in Finland, but again, the pandemic situation prevented us to continue further our activities. We will resume our activities as soon as we can. And we are also evaluating better ways to commercialize it.
Okay, if we were to shift to some of your other products, in your effort to build critical mass in the oncology pipeline, you have in-licensed Cantrixil. And Cantrixil has been shown to be effective in recurrent chemotherapy-resistant ovarian cancer. What is the current status of the preparations ahead of the phase 2 trial in 2022? And when could Cantrixil eventually reach the market?
Okay, so let me tell you first that we have a dual strategy for the new Oasmia, for the Oasmia 2.0. On one hand, we have a technology platform, one product approved in Europe, Apealea, one global commercialization agreement with Eleva. On the other hand, we have a strings of pearl strategy that is to acquire compounds or licensing in, global licensing in, those compounds. This string of pearl strategy is the only way to build a sustainable pipeline and to develop it further. Cantrixil is the first step of this strategy. And it's not like I heard there and there, it's like a small pearl. That doesn't make any sense. Cantrixil will be used in late-stage ovarian cancer, where there is a high level of unmet medical need, and can be also tried through clinical trials in some other indications. So we believe that it's an extremely important compound. We also have the possibility to use it with the technology platform as well down the road. Today, what are we doing with Cantrixil? First, we work with a supply agreement. Okay, that's important, global basis. 2, we are drafting clinical plans, also on a global basis, phase 2. And 3, we are working on setting up a clinical advisory board consisting of the most renowned physicians in the field of ovarian cancer. So having said that, assuming that we can start the Cantrixil phase 2 early 2022, then you can add 18 months for the running of the clinical trial. And then we will meet with the regulatory bodies, FDA, EMEA, to review the data. You are aware, maybe not, but I'm telling you that we have a drug orphan status in the US, and therefore, if the data is remarkably good for very advanced ovarian cancer patients using this IP formulation, then we can potentially submit for an approval in 2024.
So that's fairly quick, should that be possible. And to cover another compound in your pipeline, Docetaxel Micellar for the treatment of advanced prostate cancer, a phase 1b study is soon to be initiated. What's the current status of the preparations here, and when could Docetaxel Micellar eventually reach the market?
Right, it's actually phase 1b, but that's
phase 1b, yeah.
So site initiations are taking place as we speak in Switzerland. We have 3, and the drug has been shipped from Oasmia to these sites a few weeks ago. The first patient can therefore be enrolled in June, of course, if the eligibility criteria are met, and then we can continue and the trial. So on this one, we are exactly on plan. I hear also there and there criticism that there is a delay regarding the start of the study. That is not correct. The study will last between 12 and 18 months, and then we will review the data basically very late 2022. We could have potentially an interim analysis, but most likely late 2022, we will have the results.
Good, so no delay in Docetaxel Micellar at all then. And you have a very, very busy schedule ahead for the coming years. Could you give us a brief summary as to the most important upcoming milestones to watch out for when it comes to Oasmia in 2021 and 2022?
Yes, so some people are saying, well, there is nothing happening at Oasmia. It's unfortunately not very correct. Look at what we are working on. First, we are continuously screening and evaluating opportunities in order to build up our pipeline to have a critical mass in oncology. 2, Cantrixil, as I said, trial design, KOL, key opinion leader recruitment, supply agreement for the phase 2. 3, Docetaxel Micellar, so the phase 1b with SAC. 4, Apealea, obviously the partnering with Elevar in key territories, potential royalties in Europe. And 5, the platform, the enhancement of the platform. As you know, we are working to enhance the platform. And also there, we need to be able to release data that are solid. Okay, so we are repeating the same kind of data in order to really produce solid data with regard to the platform. Once this will be done, I will certainly release them. So let me tell you that we are not simply turning around this business. We are transforming Oasmia, the new Oasmia. We need to have a critical mass from a pipeline standpoint. This is what we are doing. Remember that if we are able to generate good phase 2 data in oncology, the value of those data is enormous. We are talking here about $500 million. This is a kind of a standard valuation of good phase 2 data in oncology. But I have to say as well that one has to be a little bit patient. I cannot produce news every week. I would love to do so, but this is not reasonable nor professional. I want to let you know that be sure that my team and I are absolutely committed to make the new Oasmia 2.0 a great success. And I invite all of you to trust us that we will deliver.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know you have a very busy schedule today. Those were all the questions I have. Do you have any additional remarks, Francois?
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.